Hey League, Kenny here doing a war recap video. Really impressive stuff this war. We got about 40 minutes left, but we have mathematically finished these guys off and wanted to show some of the really good attacks that we had. Let's go ahead and start with John's attack here. I'm going to show a couple of the 2-stars if they're sitting at around 97, 98, or 99%. Because we can still learn a lot from these things, and had some really good ones. All right, John bringing the minors. Queen walk is going to be starting around the 12 o'clock corner. Funnel with the baby dragon. He had a really good scout on this one by Chase C. And I haven't talked to Bullet about this, but I think one of the things that he learned was that with this particular funnel setup, that the queen was going to break through this wall here, which is good because he then brings some additional wall breakers. He's going to go in, use those, which is going to allow his queen to go in and get the eagle. There go the wall breakers, untouched, and boom, they get in. CC is drawn. Poison is down. Everything's looking pretty good there. Goes and drops the eagle. So now he's doing some additional funneling in the 3 o'clock corner with a baby dragon. His king is down. CC bowlers are down. And here come his minors, I think. There they go. And so, good timing on the king ability. What's the one thing that can be problematic with a minor attack? It's often time, right? Because you typically need to establish some sort of queen walk. You need to always get the enemy clan castle. That's the one thing you must get in a minor raid. And sometimes, especially in a base like this where the clan castle is kind of deep into the base, sometimes the walk takes a little time to get there. And so, but John's kept his queen alive. He still has a handful of his healers. He has a good time on his AQ ability there because it was getting targeted by the single set Inferno. And really, he's working this base over. Everything is really great about this attack. He just needed a few more seconds. But really well done. We can learn a lot from these variety attacks. Bullet had a good hog raid in the last war, and here he is pulling a 99% with minors, which we don't often see anymore. Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 11. Great attack. Here's another 98%. By the way, this is a dumb thing to point out. Well, not really. It's the little things that get raids to go right or wrong. I had hit this base with my Adam account earlier, and it was screwed up because of the funnel. I knew if I got the funnel right, this base would have a good chance of being hit pretty hard. I do a queen walk starting at the 3 o'clock corner, but the key is this gold storage right here. Got to get that gold storage in order for the funnel to be done properly. And I bring a balloon to trigger the bomb that I know is right in this area between the dark elixir storage and the gold storage. So then I can use a baby dragon on this gold storage and save a second baby dragon for cleanup at the end of the raid. Drop a giant to pull the CC. The queen walk is going on over here. Get the poison down. Get a rage down. Everything with the queen walk is going good. Get a wizard down to take out that building, but what did I do wrong? I dropped the baby dragon before I dropped the loon. So now I get the other baby dragon down because I had to establish that funnel because I knew that bomb was there. So, all right, no worries. You move on, right? And you get that thing done. So now the funnel has been established. Everything is dropped. And the 2 jumps are now down. And everything's going center. And everything is looking pretty good. So, bowlers, everything is doing their thing here. The healers are staying up. And, it's looking like if I can get some of those expos, that this is going to have a chance at being a 3-star. Those witches are slowly but surely doing their thing. The queen is still alive. Everything is looking pretty good. But what happens is it becomes a time issue. And, right now, if I had that baby dragon that I blew at the beginning of the raid, we wouldn't even be questioning whether or not you were going to have enough time to finish this one out. And, probably missed it by about 5 or 6 seconds. So, good plan, but that time the execution caught up with me. Let's go ahead and start from the top. Okay, so quick shout out to Zip. This was his plan. He had tried this earlier in the war, and he was able to secure a 2-star. And the idea with this was to do a queen walk going from 3 towards 12 o'clock, but to get her to go into this compartment here as opposed to walking the outside of the wall. In Zip's raid, he did that, except the queen ended up driving down from 3 towards 6 o'clock, mainly because this gold collector right here didn't get funneled. So I knew that I had to get that with a baby dragon or something in order for the queen to properly go into the direction that we want her to go. So get a baby dragon down, and now the hope here is that the queen, after she takes out that archer tower and that cannon, will drift up towards 12 o'clock. And she does. So now the idea was that I wasn't going to take any wall breakers here. We were going to use one jump spell in this area to get the queen inside, and also to get the kill squad into the main part of the base. And so here comes everything. And everything is coming through. And we're looking pretty good. So we get a second jump spell down. Rages are down. Enemy heroes start drawing everything to the core. And the heroes are still up. And the healers are still up. So it's that great combination, right, that we see over and over again with these successful bowler and witch attacks, is good funnel and keeping your heroes and your healers going. It's just too much for the base to overcome. Zip had talked about doing the P.E.K.K.A. attack on this base, which wasn't necessarily a bad idea. I may have talked him out of it a little bit. I think the P.E.K.K.A. attack is great. I do not like it on single set Infernos. I did a bunch of practices with it, and I kept getting about 70 or 80%, and then I would do the same thing with the witches as opposed to the P.E.K.K.A.s, and I was pulling off the 3-star. So I think the P.E.K.K.A. is a great option on the multi-set Inferno. All right, let's keep going. Here is an attack by Adam on enemy number 2. Same build. Queen walk, bowlers, witches. Driving the queen down from 3 o'clock towards 6 o'clock. This was a big attack in this war. There were 2, what I would say, really big ones. At this point, we weren't really doing all that well. Let's just say that. And we just needed a 3-star to kind of get going, and this one eked out at the end with a time issue. Time was almost an issue again, but it ended up working out. And so anyway, funnel was getting established, and here come the troops. And again, it's it's kind of the same pattern over and over with these attacks. You get the funnel down, you get the second jump down. There was a real well done heal spell on that to keep everything going, and then you just raid your bowlers, and the healers are keeping everything alive, and it's just going to end up being too much to stop. And I honestly, I really wasn't thinking that this was going to be a 3-star. I mean, this is a max base, and Adam's troops are not quite max yet. Well, the troops he uses are, but the king is 40, not 50. The queen is 45, not 50, and the warden is 16, not 20. So we really needed to secure a 2-star on this base at the time, though of course a 3-star was always preferred. And for bullet, I waited to the last 2 seconds to get everything down, but it worked out. And we had one other very timely 3-star attack this war, and that was by Geno. Let's go ahead and show it here. So this was another pretty good plan. I got a reference back to one of Floorwax's attacks that was on a video, a couple videos back, where Wax didn't really walk his queen. He kind of just charged her directly into a base. And so Geno was talking on Kick about starting. This base had air defense issues, right? So you couldn't really walk her from a corner anywhere because these air defenses are out of reach. And also the Inferno towers in certain spots were going to reach the queen. And you couldn't break her in to get the air defenses because the Inferno would have been reaching the queen, and it just wasn't going to work. So the idea here was, well, what if you start the queen walk at 4:30 and you just put the healers down? And the problem now is well, which way is she going to go? Well, the good thing with this in this case is, well, it doesn't matter. So, if you are going to be entering in one of these corners, whether it be the 3 o'clock corner or whether it be the 6 o'clock corner, it really doesn't, it's irrelevant. It just doesn't make a difference. So he's going to shift his funnel and everything that he has to do depending on which way the queen goes. And what's interesting about this is again, what's the magic formula with these Bowler Witch combinations? A good funnel and keeping your heroes and your healers going. If your healers stay alive and your heroes are still going through the attack, it's gonna be hard to stop. Some of it's luck, right? You might hit a bunch of air defenses in the center of the base, and in that case you're gonna be stuck with with a strong high percentage 2-star, which is still not a bad thing, but you keep everything going. Tough build to stop with. So let's watch and see how Geno executes. Again, this was a timely attack as well. It was at a point in the war where we really needed to pull off a 3-star, and Geno got it. Okay, so he now realizes that she's going to drive south, and so he has dropped the baby dragon in to start the funneling process. And so hits the king, gets a couple of bowlers, gets the wall breakers down, and boom, funnel has, the bowlers are doing a number on that other gold storage, and now the funnel has been established. And so everything's going in there, right? And so he gets a timely rage down. He gets his poison down. He gets his second jump down. I believe he gets his second rage. Good warden ability. Where's that second rage at? He's waiting for it to get in range of the Inferno, I believe. There it goes. And so now here we are, at that 60 to 70% mark that we talk about a lot. And he still has a full Archer Queen with an ability left and a handful of bowlers and 3 healers. At the end, that's just going to be too much for this base to stop. Good patience on the Queen, just gets through the wall, uses the ability, I believe, to take out that last Archer Tower. And now there's just, got a couple witches, everything's there. It's just too much there for this base to stop. A very timely 3-star by Geno. Awesome job. Awesome job. All right, I think that's all I'm going to show. I did want to make a couple points about the defensive side real quick. So, our bases got hit pretty hard this war. Not Zips, 54%. OBQ, 98. They got me for 66. They got Jeff for 67. High percent on Wax. They got Bullet. 99% on Geno. And then these were nice holds for the bases that aren't really maxed out yet. I think we really need to start going to the anti-3-star bases, the offset town halls, where the town halls are on the outside. The game is such an offensive game right now, and it's at a point where if you're a Town Hall 11 with max troops and strong heroes, when I say strong heroes, I mean a warden above like 12 and anything above 40s with your queen and your king. Anything under a 70% is probably not going to cut it these days with the changes and the nerfs to the Infernos and everything like that. So I think having an offset town hall and giving up the 2-star is perfectly fine. Because they're going to get it anyway. And so having something that's going to consistently hold or try to hold, even if it's a 70 to 85% hold, my base is a good example of this, I think. It's getting hit pretty hard. It's been getting hit for about 75 to 85% a lot of wars. And, you look at that and you say, oh, gee, that's not good. Well, but if I'm going on the enemy and pulling off 1 3-star war, then it is good. Because, the goal is if you're holding the enemy to 2, then, you've done your job on defense. And so I know we have some anti-3 bases saved up, and so if you all need a new base, you should ask for them. But I'm specifically talking about, I think OBQ and Wax, Geno, Bullet. I haven't seen your base enough to know. But let's all try to get some anti-3-star bases. Anti-2 is a thing of the past. So anyway, just an observation and a point. Great war. That's 6 in a row for us. So let's keep that streak going with the next one. All right, guys. Have a good night.